100 million naira each for the remaining hostages. President Buhari tells ASUU to call off prolonged strike, says enough is enough. And later on the show, APC governors meet with President Buhari, back Shatima as Tinubu's running mate. I will be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kayode Balogun. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Journalist Hangout starts now. All right, welcome back. The last is yet to be heard about the kidnapped passengers of the ill-fated Kaduna-Abuja train. The latest is that 7 more kidnapped passengers of the March 28th train attack have been released by the terrorists. The abductors were paid 800 million naira ransom by the families of the victims for their release, while 20 victims have been released on different occasions. The bandits are demanding 100 million naira each for the release of the remaining 43 victims, including 2 foreigners still in captivity. Gentlemen, kidnapping has now become quite intractable. 100 million naira each for the kidnapped passengers. The hope we had in government, where is it? Because when Nigerians now have to pay for their own ransom.
Well, government is incapable of freeing people from the abductors. Government has said it will no longer pay ransom on behalf of people kidnapped. So, it's to your tent, O Israel. If anything happens to you, you are driving on the highway, you get kidnapped, you are simply on your own. That is what we are seeing. I would have loved to see a situation in which people get kidnapped and occasionally we see security operatives descend on the scene and at least rescue some of those people. You know? Or what we keep hearing is that, oh, there will be collateral damage if an attempt is made, and then because of that, no attempt is ever made to try to even secure the release of these people. We saw the Americans come all the way from their country to rescue one of their own who was abducted by bandits in the northwest of our country. They successfully got those guys killed, and they spirited their citizen away. How many times have we seen such a thing happen here? In fact, sometimes people will pay ransom only for our security agents to come and lie that they secured, that they freed those people. It's such a terrible situation that we find ourselves. I said the week these guys abducted these train passengers, that these guys are not terrorists, they are bandits, they are out to make money, they don't have political demands. I said it at that time. Their conduct is consistent with the conduct of bandits. And I said at that time that, look, they are going to ask for ransom because they didn't announce to anyone that, oh, they are going to be asking for ransom. Many Nigerians thought, oh, these were just terrorists. But when they released that banker, the chairman of that government bank, people should have known that he found a way to secure his freedom. Yes, he found a way to pay ransom. They lied to us. The terrorists said they released him on health ground because he was old. But there is a 90-year-old woman still in their hands. So if his release was based on compassionate grounds on account of age, that person is way younger than the 90-year-old woman that they are still holding. It's all about money. And at that time, my source told me that they were asking for foreign currency. Now, we have information that the bulk of this ransom that was paid was actually paid in foreign currencies. This is where we find ourselves in our country. We can't stop them. Government is right to say, oh, we are not going to pay ransom. But you should be able to secure the release of people, because the alternative is people will have to go and find a way to pay ransom, because they can't watch their loved ones suffer. They are not going to wait for these people to kill their loved ones. Now, some funny people in the National Assembly are trying to criminalize ransom payment. What is the alternative to ransom payment? The alternative has to be that militarily you are going to secure the release of our people, or ensure that our people are safe when driving on the highways, when inside the government train and the rest. If you can't do that, people get kidnapped, they have the right to find a way to secure their freedom. Their loved ones have every right in the world to do their best to secure the rights, to secure the lives of people in the custody of the bandits. And how else can they do that? It's by negotiating with them. They have to pay money. When government neglected the students of that Greenfield University in Kaduna, what did we see? Some parents sold their houses and paid as much as 100 million. The same thing happened with the students of that school owned by the Baptist in Kaduna. They paid more than 100 million cumulatively to have those children released. So what is the thing? It's like everybody has been left to find a way to protect themselves. We provide our own water, we provide our own electricity. Now we have to protect ourselves. If you can't hire OPC or some other, I hope Ozare will provide OPC for us so that we can protect ourselves, then you're on your own. That's what we are seeing.
All right, GKB, with several documentations in Nigeria, and you just stated these recent ransom payments was majorly in foreign currencies. How has it been so hard for these people to be traced?
Well, what are you going to trace them for? There are no consequences for those who are mandated to protect us. Nothing has been done to anybody, as far as I know. Nobody has resigned out of the fact that I failed as a man in government. So the president has not sacked anybody in the conventional sense that we see in other countries. So what's the motive for doing your work when the system rewards you abundantly for simply failing? We must remember that kidnapping is an emotive crime. It has no rhyme or reason. Yorubas will say, you cannot pontificate when it comes to the way the loved one of these people feel when their people are in captivity. It's not something one can simply pontificate about on radio or television. It is real life drama for those who are concerned. So when I hear people say we criminalize this, it's like somebody saying that it is wrong to protect yourself. The first law of nature is self-preservation. That's the first law. All animals do it, all trees do it. The first thing you do is how to preserve myself and my generations to come. The government has failed using any parameter when it comes to security. And it's unfortunate because we assume that by this time in our democracy, we will have a system that will work in such a way that, because yesterday I saw a picture of a JTF with rank, and it was wearing the badge, Joint Task Force, and in one of the northern states. And I was very happy. It means that the reality is dawning on our people, that you cannot keep waiting for somebody who cannot protect himself to protect you. Soldiers were kidnapped. People are dead every day. 2 weeks ago, 17 mobile policemen were escorting pilgrims from Eastern local government in Sokoto to Sokoto for the Hajj. They were slaughtered. A day earlier, 37 officers of the Nigerian army were slaughtered. It was still business as usual. If those who are being paid to protect you are not themselves, able to protect themselves as it were, what are you going to do? I keep telling them, the people said, people don't go for state police. I said, if you don't do anything soon, what we'll have is worse. What we'll have will be worse than state police. Because individuals will now carry guns. Because when I was growing up in Lagos, after the war, anybody they shout thief in Lagos, they will burn him. That's what that is. And that's how we are going now, because people are sitting on the edge. Nobody is safe. Nobody seems to worry about our safety. And I don't know how to say this in English, but the Bible will say, the those who sells lie at the Ogun shrine, most of them are innocent. I don't want us to go that far. That's why government must do something to protect us here and now.
All right, Bikio, let's look at how lucrative this business has been to bandits. Could this have maybe been the reason why the government has been quite lukewarm to this in tackling this issue?
No, certainly not. It's just a lack of political will and lack of the right strategies. It's just like looking at what had been happening in the Northeast. We kept pushing that we should go on the offensive, that the Nigerian army was too defensive, that the Nigerian army should go on the offensive. Don't wait until you are attacked. The idea of coming up with super camps so that you have enough weapons to defend yourself, some of us opposed it. We said, don't wait until you attack. Take the battle to the enemy. Attack as the best form of defense. If you are playing a team that is coming at you with waves and waves of attack, you are going to be defending throughout. But if you are trying to attack you and you are attacking as well, they too will be careful that, oh, these people could actually score against us. So both teams would have to take defending seriously. But if a team just decides to
defend,
stay back and simply defend, you are inviting more pressure to yourselves. And before you know it, that dam will break. When the dam breaks, more goals will happen. So we are doing well in the Northeast. One of the reasons for that is that we now go after the enemy. We go to their enclaves, destroy their camps, set their camps ablaze. They are on the run. A good number of them are now here. I mean, they are now in the Northwest and North Central. Some people were denying before when we said that Boko Haram had moved to Niger State. Boko Haram was in the Northwest. Some were abusing us. They sat on social media, which is their natural habitat, where they enjoy abusing people. They are not good enough to lace their boots. We left them alone. Today, no one would deny. In fact, government is the quickest to say, oh, that attack was by ISWAP. But for some time, we were defending, we were denying that these guys had moved to some other parts of the country.
They're very active.
When we should have moved fast to block them, to stop the advance towards that part of the country, we were in denial. Boko Haram organized, Shekau organized the kidnap of the JSS Kankara students. Some people denied it, but the first video of those boys in captivity was released by Shekau himself. For how long are we going to be denied the truth? The governor of Niger State has told us repeatedly that in some parts of his state, Boko Haram are even holding on to territories.
In Niger State.
The secretary of the government of the state has also said the thing that they are occupying, he said the same thing, that they are occupying some parts of Niger. Now, in some communities that our people had vacated in the Northwest, they are holding those communities as if it belongs to them. In fact, to Boko Haram, people should not come near Brinengwari. So those going to Kwara, for example, or even coming to Lagos, you know what they put themselves through. They pass through from Abuja. They will come through Kogi, then Ekiti, before coming
because of what too is no longer.
Because if you, and it's not far. If you have to go through Kaduna, Tegina, Kaduna, Brinengwari, Tegina, in no time you are in Mokwa, and you are close to Kwara. But people rather go to pass through Lokoja, then come to Kogi, then Lokoja, come to Okun land, then get to Ekiti. Before so it's terrible. Just to avoid being killed. It's the same situation that people found themselves. Those going to Goza, those going to Biu, because the Dambo-Abiu road is one of the most dangerous in our country. They go through, they first go to Yobe State.
And then turn right again.
And you then do twice or 3 times the time that you normally spend if you had followed the usual route. But those boys are on the usual route and they waste you. Nobody wants to die. So this is a situation that we found ourselves. It's lucrative. Government has not been able to identify the people behind this, block even the access to money. Those guys, every day they are learning and they are improving their ways of getting money from people. If they are keeping someone here, they will first make sure that you go to 3 or 4 places before they eventually release that person to you. They'll go in a mazy manner so that they can be located. We were speaking to the chief of army staff and he said, these guys are extremely mobile. Because they are extremely mobile, even if you plan an attack on them, the next day they are no longer there. And of course, they have information within the armed forces.
All right. Just before we move on this discussion, I have Robert from Itoki, Ogun State. Hello, Robert.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you. May God bless you.
All right.
Yes, I'm a retired army officer. Now, at the end of the day, when Ojukwu declare war in this country, we now go to Calabar, go to every state and look for them, where the Biafrans, go to everywhere and look for them. So why should the military government, where Buhari is a retired general, why they not find? Look at Kaduna here. They take, look at what my brother talked. When he talks, say they take old woman, 90-year-old woman. Look what happened in Uganda. A 90-year-old woman was there in Uganda. Then America sent their soldiers come and reduce them. What are we paying 800 million? They're asking us $1 million. We give them $1 million, they go buy weapons.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. Now, GKB, because let's go back to the discussion I was having with BKO. Because Nigerians are obviously observing the body language of the federal government, which indirectly tells them that it's just about money. It's just about ransom payments. When in fact, people are going into debt all because they want to get back their loved ones.
Well, it's always about money. Like you said when you first asked the question, it's basically about the rewards. And if the reward comes in for minimum effort, why not? That's what banditry is really about. As we say in my language, a thief does not lose anything. You can sell a 2 million naira car for 10,000. He had no investments in the vehicle in the first place. So they have the advantage when it comes to that. What I don't understand is the fact that I spoke to some people in the security operators and they told me Nigeria is properly mapped. That's what they told me. That we have a proper map of, and it's true. I've been in Abuja and I traced my own house. I told the roof of my house. And I keep wondering, how come people can hold people or move, no matter how mobile they are, that they will not leave traces? There's a whole army created by the Americans when they took over and they were chasing the Indians during the American War. They call them scouts. These people are the ones who can sit on the floor and tell you the last time somebody stepped on it. That this piece of whatever was left by somebody 2 hours ago. Why can't we do that? I know you cannot get all of them, but if we keep minimizing the space they occupy, then we will stop this in its tracks. Because it really doesn't get me worried for 2 reasons. One, if it is not money, how did they get money back into the system? Because it is money, like Gide said, they are not being paid in dollars. That means even the money is now mobile. Not only the people. The money they get is now mobile. Because $10,000 can disappear to your body and nobody will see it. But 10 million naira, you have to think Ghana must go about 4 or 5. So not only are they getting smarter, I will not be surprised if they have paga people somewhere who serve as the conduits for money to get back to the system. I agree it's not peculiar to Nigeria when it comes to money laundering or criminal purposes. But Nigeria has now become organized in such a way that we have nowhere else to go. My fear is this, and I said it before. If our people, because we are going the way of Somalia, and they got to a point that somebody will be controlling the Abuja-Lokoja road, you have to pay toll to pass. Somebody will pay for the Lokoja-Yagba road, and then you have to pay. From Auckland, you have to pay before you get to Ekiti. And then everybody think it's normal. That's why we are going. Because there are already roads in Niger State that we know, those in Yobe State, that people don't go because they know you pay toll. And like I told you, we are losing our enforcement officers at a pace that we cannot replace them. I know for the fact that the mobile police is the most hit when it comes to this in Nigeria. They lose an average of 2-3 people per day. Can you manufacture 2-3 people or give birth to 2-3 people to replace them? That means if people are telling you we have 500,000 people in uniform, with the level of people that have been killed in the Northwest, Northeast, and North Central, maybe we've lost about 200,000 in the last 3 years.
All right.
That to me is the danger that we face.
All right, gentlemen, let's quickly go back to criminalization of ransom payments. Because how scary does this look, and does it look like this might see the light of the day? And what are the implications of this bill?
I see no sense in coming up with a law that people will not obey. With a gun to my neck, to tell me not to pay ransom, and I know that that's the way to get my loved one out of captivity, I will pay that ransom. I will pay that ransom. I would rather go to jail than watch my loved one die. I mean, look, people will do anything to ensure that they keep their loved ones alive. If it was possible to clone your loved ones, you will happily clone your loved ones. If you had a child with a first-class brain, the best in her class, and she had leukemia, you knew that death will certainly come someday. Won't you clone her? Well, we've not got to that stage. The point I'm making is there is no sense in coming up with a law that you cannot even enforce. I don't even see how you can enforce it. Soldiers get kidnapped, they pay ransom. Policemen get kidnapped, they pay ransom. They may not tell you that they paid ransom, but we know that somehow they find a way to go and pay, because the alternative is death to that person in captivity. So we have not reached that point. If our security is so watertight that, look, once somebody is kidnapped, in no time, that person gets released. You are certain that that person will be released in the fullness of time.
Or efforts would even be made.
Why would you go and waste your money to give these guys? It's because they know that the system is weak. They are triumphing over a weak system, and they are happy to show us. This is bandit in your face banditry. That is what we are seeing. That, look, there's nothing you guys can do. Do you know they tell people that if you like, call the police, you will see. You will see. Because
cases of that.
Sometimes, even when you do that, they get the information. So this is the thing. If the security can improve, we didn't have this kind of thing before. I mean, we grew up in a happy Nigeria, a Nigeria that everyone will be proud of. We grew up in a Nigeria where you enjoy traveling by road, taking in the fauna on both sides. Nigeria is a beautiful country. You see lush green vegetation everywhere. In our country, even on the hills, you see trees grow on mountains in our country. How many countries of the world do you see trees grow on mountains, when even some of those mountains are covered by ice? You know? So this is the thing. We've taken security so lightly now that, whether we like it or not, it is the biggest issue in our country. For the election that is coming, as I said 2 years ago, security will be the biggest issue. It is who Nigerians think will protect them the best that they are going to vote for. People can talk about religion and other things. Religion is the least of our problem, because religion does not bring down the price of bread.
Absolutely.
It is who will best protect us that Nigerians will vote for, because it's about their survival.
All right, GKB, let me have your final thoughts on this before we move on to
I wish that we could go back to a period where our security infrastructure strikes fear into the heart of bandits. There's a time in Nigeria that if you kill a policeman in the morning, chances are 99% he will catch you before the nightfall. You don't even want to talk about clean soldiers. That's off. Because clean soldiers means they will decimate your entire community. Now we lose 35 officers at the go, and nothing can.
And no repercussion.
And then we know policemen are being killed every day. You know how endangered their lives are. Because I'm talking about mobile policemen because it touches me. These are people who are created solely to be mobile. So that means they can move at any given time. And because that very stress, it is what's killing them now. Because once they're on the road, they are targets for bandits, they are targets for terrorists. And then do you think somebody like me will allow my children to not join? That is supposed to be a noble profession. We have to do something about security architecture. If they don't want state police, let's have regional police. JTF can transmute to whatever they want it to be. As far as we are secured. Security is number one. All these are just inanities that we worry about.
All right, gentlemen, let's go on a quick break and we will be right back with more discussions.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady.
Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
All right, welcome back. Gentlemen, let's move on to some other discussions. The ongoing strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, is more than 4 months old, following failure of the federal government to fulfill agreements with the union, including increased funding for public universities. But President Muhammadu Buhari has again called on the striking lecturers to return to work, saying the strike will have generational consequences on families, the education sector, and future development of the country. President Buhari, who urged ASUU to call off the strike while receiving some governors of the All Progressives Congress APC, lawmakers and political leaders in Daura said enough is enough. Let's hear from the president.
I hope that the institutions we have, like ASUU, will sympathize with the country and the people. There's nothing wrong with showing the government and the leadership that you don't like what they are doing. But enough is enough. Don't hurt the next generation, for goodness sake. So those of you who have friends that are teachers and influential or even not influential, please persuade them to go back to classes so that our children can resume their educational pursuit.
All right, BK, let's talk about this. Now, should this be seen as a tactic call by President Buhari for roundtable discussion with leadership of ASUU?
I don't know why he has not called them. I don't know why. Perhaps the president has made up his mind not to negotiate with them. Because it's about time, at least in the last 2 years, close to 2 years, ASUU has been on strike, go back to work, go on strike again. Before that memorandum of action was signed, ASUU was on strike for so long. And then the memorandum of action stipulated that certain steps will be taken. And that if those steps were not taken, ASUU, having suspended the strike, reserved the right by the labor laws to go on a fresh strike without officially notifying their employer. The employer is the Federal Ministry of Education. But what did we see? Those agreements are not honored. I believe that we will be in a much better place when government makes a habit of honoring its word. But that's not what we are seeing. They treated the health workers the same way. Those guys chose a time when we were battling with COVID to go on strike. Invariably, we had no choice. We had to yield to their demands. They said, look, we can't have a situation in which you are paying us the same hazard allowance that was instituted in the 80s, early 80s. You have to increase this hazard allowance. They made it look like they would never listen. But invariably, government was able to, government yielded to their demands and they are back to work. In this case, there are just two issues that ASUU says, look, address so that we can go back to work. The matter of IPPIS and UTAS. The University Transparency and Accountability Solution is, in their view, the right alternative to IPPIS, because the IPPIS is not flexible for the university system, where I could be a staff of the University of Learning and I could go abroad on sabbatical, doing some work there. I could be a visiting lecturer in another university within our country and will still be drawing my salary. IPPIS, you cannot do that with IPPIS. You can't. It recognizes you as a staff of that university. You only draw your salary, you get paid in that university, nowhere else. And I said, this all over the world, this is not the system. This is not flexible. And you said, come up with your alternative to it. Government should be able to look at the alternative that these guys spent about 30 million of their money coming up with. Look at it. If it makes sense, go ahead and use it. Disenroll them from IPIS. But people are saying, oh, you cannot tell your employer the way, the way your salary should be paid and all that. That's why we have this situation. Then the second one, how many of us will agree to be on the same wages for 10 years or more? You have the 2009 agreement. The agreement even stipulates that it should be, from time to time, it should be reviewed. You refuse to review. These guys have been on the same wages since, and we don't want them to complain. Honestly, I don't understand. I have spoken with some of the people in government, and I agree with what the Committee of Vice Chancellors said, that only the president can solve this problem. Why did they say that? Because even the ministers have come out to say only the president can give the directive to migrate from IPPIS to UTAS. None of those ministers has got the power to do that. So when those VCs said only the president can end this strike, they were right. Led for Ngige. Ngige will want to end this strike, but Ngige is not even the employers of those guys.
All right, so Bikio, if it's looking like only the president can solve this problem, why then is he calling on well-meaning Nigerians like you and I?
He wants us to appeal to them. He believes that if we talk to them, that they are our friends. If we talk to them, that they will listen. These are people whose salaries have been stopped. The more you subject a person who is pursuing a goal, the more you subject him to pains, the more determined he becomes. This is not the longest strike in the history of ASUU. We've witnessed longer strikes.
Far longer.
So if we may refuse to pay them, somehow they will get by. but the students are suffering.
And the system,
Yeah, the system is suffering. That's why the president has a decision to make. Remember, clerics and some traditional rulers led by the Sultan met with these people, I think in December. They met with them. But I was told that even after meeting with them, they were supposed to then meet the president to convey to brief him on their discussion. But they were not even given audience. Yeah. They've not told them that, okay, this is the time to come and brief the president about this matter. The issue of renegotiation of their condition of service and all that, government nominated someone. That person came up with a report. You refuse to do anything about the report. Your own person, you nominated Musalin Jibril to meet with them and then come up with his own findings. You didn't take action on it.
All right, GKB.
So how can the strike, how can it end? I just pity the students who are suffering. More and more of these young people will lose faith in our country if this kind of thing continues. People may think, oh, they can blackmail ASUU to end the strike. But as long as they are convinced that they are on the right track, they are not likely to yield to blackmail. And the longer it gets, the worse it becomes for everyone.
All right, GKB, I cannot begin to say or ask if this is worth it. But would you say that should it have actually come to this end? And for you, would you have said ASUU has actually tried? And for them, this needs to be sorted once and for all while the students suffer.
Actually, it's now beyond ASUU. The non-academic staff unions have also joined. I think there is now a complete system fighting the system. And it's going to be messier as the days go by because some of us were victims of the first long strike. That was 88 during the Babangida years. And some of us came back with this, from being Lekpa to this size. That never went back. But seriously, the Nigerian students, as of today, it doesn't make sense for any guardian or parent to trust the system with their words. I know I will not. Because any child today that has not been to school in 4 years, normally in the last generation or so, the average age of graduation is 22, based on the way we rush our students to school. With this strike alone in the last 4 years, they've lost 4.5 years. That is about 6 years in academic terms. That means whatever we do today will take 4 years to balance out. That means we've lost the whole generation of some of our brightest minds to this strike. The only person responsible for this strike is the president. The only person who can stop this strike is the president. The only person who has the ability to talk and beg for us, instead of him asking us to beg them, is the one to talk to them. He's the father. The Nigerian constitution gave the president enormous powers. Even the Nigerian president can do things that will be legalized later. That's how powerful he is. He can do stuff that will go back to the National Assembly and be ratified. So he doesn't even need us to do this job. All he has to do is call them to a table, agree to the ones he can agree with, then take whatever they have agreed to back to the National Assembly.
Well, it doesn't
and this
look
National
like
Assembly will rectify anything the president wants. So it's up to the president to be proactive. Because I have a feeling that ego is involved there. Somebody somewhere is feeling slighted by the audacity of these lecturers to go on strike. And he doesn't want to. I'm not saying this president, maybe the minister, maybe a permanent secretary. I don't know. But somebody in the system has made up his mind is going to punish these people for subordination.
All right, gentlemen, we have Olawale from Ikorodu. Hello, Olawale.
Yeah, good evening, Jumoke. Good evening. Good evening,
sir.
Yes, I just have two brief comments. If the president likes, let him start all the roads in all the states, as well as build flyover, all at sea. But history, because the people who are going to fly the roads and the bridges are not safe. So nobody will be interested. The life is our life is more important than the bridges and the roads. Secondly, this issue of ASUU strike, okay, let the president intervene as well as the UTAS to the president. Okay, there in every country there are some institutions with peculiarities, and one of them is the university system. Anybody in the ministry that wants to enjoy such privilege, let them go and get PhD and go and be teaching here. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Olawale. Bikeo, one of the key issues ASUU has pointed out is the issue of IPPS, which ASUU says is a conduit pipe to squander fund. How do you think it would be so hard for the government to accede to ASUU's demand for UTAS?
I think even for personal reasons, government is reluctant to do this. It's not so difficult to say, okay, we disenroll you guys from IPPIS, we use UTAS. Since we have checked UTAS and we have passed it fit, because I learned that it was initially passed fit. Now they call for another round of evaluation. But there are people who have made up their minds that, look, if we allow this strike to go on and on, these guys will eventually be blackmailed to call out the strike. But we've seen ASUU go on more than 6 months strike in this country before. So, and there was even a time that they were chased out of their residential
quarters.
Yes, I think during Awalu Yadudu's time. You know, they chased them out of their quarters. But he still didn't end the strike. He still didn't end the strike. Huh? He's one of the best organized trade unions in our country, where you can't even talk to an individual, even if he's the president or chairman of ASUU, you can't talk to him and expect that you'll be able to leverage on your relationship with him. Whatever decision ASUU will take has to go around. They will have a town hall. From town hall, they will come to their executive committee before a decision will now be reached. So it's difficult for one person to say, because it's close to government, get a way to get ASUU members to agree to government's demand. It's a very well-organized labor union, and I can see this thing going on and on if government does not.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bikeo. Now let's move on to another very interesting development. The ripples generated by the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as running mate to the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is yet to settle. In the face of this, some All Progressives Congress APC governors have declared support for Senator Shettima as the running mate to Tinubu for the 2023 general election. The governors who stormed Daura for a meeting with President Buhari said they have confidence in the combination of Tinubu and Shettima to ensure victory for the APC in the presidential election. EKB, let me start with you. What does this mean for APC and Tinubu?
Well, it means endorsement and validation. Don't forget, as the candidate, it is his prerogative to select his running mate. We haven't gone through the process. I'm sure you heard about the placeholder. The guy was put in place until this is Christ. And being the strategist that he is, I'm sure he will have weighed all the pros and cons and see that is the best way forward for himself and the party. The governors, of course, are a very powerful bloc in APC, but I'll say the most powerful. Because normally I call Nigerian democracy a gubernocracy, a government by the governors, for the governors, and by the governors. And once you have the endorsement of the governors of your party, the battle is halfway won. Because that's the people that are going to control the whatever is happening in their states up to a reasonable level. So once the party is behind you, and by the party I mean the governors in their states, then you're halfway there.
All right, Bikeo, I'm sure we must have heard about some reports of tension as soon as Tinubu announced Kashim Shettima as his running mate. Now, what could have happened if the president did not do the needful? I mean, to intervene.
In the what?
In this, in the supposed tension. Some APC governors who were not so impressed or happy with the announcement of Kashim Shettima as Tinubu's running mate.
Well, there's a lot of speculation in the air.
That doesn't make sense.
I do not see evidence of bad blood generated as a result of the choice of Shettima. We were told that, the Northwest governors were angry because they told, governors told Asiwaju to pick one of their own as his running mate. But don't forget that Shettima was also a governor. And at some point, he was governor with some of the current governors. He was governor with some of the current governors at some point. People like El-Rufai, people like Ganduje, So when I heard some of those stories, I knew, well, that this is just pure Agbeleko, what my boss, Bayo Nanuga, would call Agbeleko. People sit in the
beer room,
yes, and just concoct a story and cite some sources somewhere.
Anonymous sources.
You see? They will cite some sources, sources that don't want to be mentioned. Out of the 9 governors that visited the president, 5 were from the Northwest. So, who are the people that were angry, yet went to tell the president that, look, we support the choice of Shettima? El-Rufai was there. Masari was there. Ganduje was there. 5 governors from the Northwest present. So, who are the people that you're talking about? Who are the people that are angry that they didn't pick one of them? Who are the people? It's not possible in this kind of contest. It's not possible to please everybody. And that was why I said, if I were Asiwaju, I would have picked my deputy a long time ago. Whenever he chose to pick his deputy,
people will complain.
Those who will complain will complain. And some of the people who will complain, in fact, most of the people who will complain are people without any plan to vote for him.
Not one.
That's why I gave the example of Sule Lamido yesterday, that Asule said it was a wrong choice. What is your own? You are in the PDP. You are a member of the PDP. You've never left the PDP since 1998. You are very loyal to the party. If Asiwaju makes a mistake, it should make you happy, because that should help you to win. This is about democracy. I agree with Father Kuka that Nigerians will judge whether this is a good choice by Asiwaju or not. It is the Nigerian people who will decide. All the head banging on the wall that we are seeing, I don't think it's necessary. People should go ahead, support their own candidate, work hard to support their candidate, so that their candidate will then be able to win the election. Not be this is an internal matter of a political party. He has chosen who he thinks can help him to win. But the Nigerian people will decide.
All right, gentlemen, before we move on in this discussion, let's quickly listen to one of the governors, Professor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, on the choice of Shettima as Tinubu's running mate.
I'm convinced that Bola Tinubu will find in him very good characters. His humility, his dedication, and hard working need not to be overemphasized. Most importantly, he's a true nationalist. When he was the governor of Borno State, he has appointed many non-indigents as special advisors and advisors. There's one very important in him that I need to mention it, which is inclusivity in his administration.
All right, you can get the full interview on Borno restoration on TVC News on Sunday at 8 p.m. All right, Jikavi, you heard Professor Zulum there.
Yeah, it's correct, of course. It was the successor to His Excellency Shettima. And so he knows him very well. He worked under him for many years. So he's the right person to do the endorsement. But like Jide said, I don't understand Nigerian politics anymore, because your enemy is making an error according to you. Why not let him enjoy his error in peace? Yes. Like I wrote on social media, if this prayer does not work for you, you have other choices. Pick that one, then do whatever you want. Yeah. People are masturbating all over the place, so that it's not their business. You are not a member of the APC. It's not your business.
You are not likely to vote for him?
You are not going to vote for him anyway. And yet you are the one crying about Muslim tickets, crying about Tinubu, and crying about what the Yoruba people are doing to Nigeria. Then pick your PVC, we will meet on the field. Yes.
If you go and teach them the lesson.
All right. All right, GKB, because you've mentioned the issue of Muslim tickets and the concerns still out there, BK, is there some sort of adjustments that can be done to favor all parties, especially when it comes to federal character?
Yes, of course. I want to believe that there is still time to make critical adjustment that will give people a very good sense of belonging, you know, in the final analysis. There are so many board appointments that even this administration
have not done one thought.
Yes. So there will be opportunities. We have key political positions there. SGF, head of service, all of those. The president,
the legislature.
Yes, the president has the power to make loyal party men happy. And there are boundless opportunities for him to be able to do that. There are other ways, other areas where people can be rewarded. It's not only via running mate. Some of these governors who could not become running mate now, they could become minister, they could become secretary of the government of the federation. Some of them going to the Senate, they could become Senate president.
All right, BKO, please kindly hold your thoughts. We have Taiwo from London. Hello, Taiwo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Yes. I'd like to contribute regarding the schools that have been closed for so long. In my opinion, I think it's because the children of the president, the senators, all the people in the high places, they don't study in Nigeria. If they study in Nigeria, schools will not be closed all day. We all witnessed Wicked Son meeting from the UK. Would the school be closed for a day? This is someone who was in the university in Nigeria. I'd just like to say to them is they need to leave a good legacy. Please do the right thing. If it's in the hands of the president to do what is expected, he should go ahead and do it. At least do something right for a change. Please,
all right. Thank you very much, Taiwo. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Now, before we go, BKO, GKB, I would like to have this thought. What do you think can be done to manage the level of distrust and suspicion between the two major religions we have in Nigeria? Because these two religions are practically the cause of all of this unrest.
I don't think that our leaders have done well to manage our diversity. I don't even think this administration has done well to manage our diversity. And the more we do things appear to support one side against another, the more we worsen things for ourselves. Many years ago, Nigerians were not bothered about where this one came from, where that one came from. I've said before that we had a president as a Christian, is number 2 as a Christian during the Gawan regime. And nobody cared about it. Even when Buhari was head of state, Idiaba was a Muslim. He was number 2 man. How many people complain about it? It wasn't even an issue at that time. And when Abiola picked King Gibe, it wasn't an issue at all. I was in Kano, and I saw Kano people reject their own son in favor of Abiola. That's the way it should be. But over the years, politicians have played one religion against the other in a very responsible manner. And that is why we have found ourselves where we are. We distrust one another so much. And you can't build a nation on massive distrust. We've got to do our best to bring our people together. I am convinced that Asiwaju, for example, is not a bigot. I have no evidence of that. So, if he becomes president, for example, if he pleases Nigerians to elect him, I'm not sure that what we didn't know about him, we will start seeing as soon as he becomes president. No.
All right,
I'm not sure of that.
GKB, let me have your final thoughts in 30 minutes. In 30 seconds.
Our founding fathers have done their job. It's for those who practice. We have Federal Character Commission, basically ensured. We have ICPC. We have institutions that are there to guarantee that things are done properly.
All right.
But only the people who operate it will have to be Nigerians first.
All right.
And be tribalists later.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your robust contribution on the show. Thank you, GKB, for coming on the show. Thank you, BKO. All right. That's all on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. You're watching ShopX TV, home to some of the most popular international brands in Africa, including Copper Chef, MyFit Jeans, Genie Bra, the Power XL Air Fryer, the NutriBullet, and more. We are now proud to bring you the triple deal, including kitchen items to keep you and your family healthy. This amazing collection includes one Power Air Fryer XL, one NutriBullet, and one Copper Chef Wonder Cooker. The amazing Power Air Fryer XL is a one-touch revolutionary kitchen miracle with 7 quick presets that can air fry, roast, bake, and grill in minutes. So say goodbye to oil and hello to healthier living. Our 900-watt NutriBullet with cyclonic action technology pulverizes stems, seeds, nuts, and everything else to give you that smooth taste for your daily recommendations of fruits and vegetables in a fast, simple, and convenient way. And our best-selling Copper Chef Wonder Cooker. It's a non-stick roasting pan, Dutch oven, stock pot, and air crisper. It's the world's first extra-large non-stick multi-cooker that has 14 functions, including baking, steaming, cooking, air frying, grilling, roasting, serving, and so much more. And that's not all. The Copper Chef Wonder Cooker comes with deep roasting pan, shallow roasting pan, crisper tray, tempered glass pan lid, and 2 bonus deep fry baskets. You can get the triple deal for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira, but just 215,900 naira. Incredible! Call the number on your screen now to get the amazing deal. But wait, there's more. Why not upgrade by going all out with the ShopX TV Lifestyle Collection? This amazing collection is a must-have in every kitchen and includes the amazing Wonder Cooker, the Power Air Fryer XL, a 600-watt NutriBullet, 1 extra-large Copper Chef pan, 1 Copper Chef XL frying pan, the Copper Chef Crisper basket, and over 10